Hello, this is the Ramblings of an Undisciplined Mind podcast for Monday, June 6th, 2016. As of this recording, Sierra is still missing. So this is week 10 of my capstone class. It's the last full week. And in fact, at lunch today, I finished the last of the assigned readings, so that was cool. And then earlier this morning, I did my last course evaluation. I kind of got into it a little bit. I let them know what I think of their class and the amount of time it takes. I don't expect it's going to change anything, because I'm sure they have all their to them valid academic reasons for doing what they're doing, but they got one student's perspective. So yeah, on Saturday, the wife and I went to see X-Men Apocalypse finally. So I thought I'd talk about that a little bit. I was a little concerned. We've been using the AMC Stubs app of late because we bought a Stubs membership, and it gives you there, when you're looking at the movies for buying tickets, it gives you like the Rotten Tomatoes score, and then there was, I guess it's just a score for people that rated it within the app. And it wasn't that good. It was the ratings were kind of meh. Rotten Tomatoes, I think, was like 64 at the time, and their ratings were giving it like a 75. So I was a little worried about, is this gonna suck badly, and I'm gonna be sad that we're spending money to go see it. But we wanted to see it. And I think I get a little bit of why it got that. The pacing seemed a little off to me for some reason. I mean, there was a number of things going on, but I don't know, it just, and I can't even really say it was really slow or it was really fast. It did feel like, spoilers. You've got this. The one thing I really liked, so at the very beginning, you've got the main bad guy, and he's in early Egypt time, and apparently the Egyptians are tired of this guy that seems to be some sort of a mutant with his 4 mutants that are mutant helpers, and they decided that they don't really want him around anymore. So while he's undergoing some sort of a transfer that between another mutant that basically gives them healing powers, they kick off a chain reaction that causes this pyramid that he's in to collapse upon itself, and he's buried for all time. And that's how the movie starts. And of course, that he's gonna get unburied, and then he's gonna start to try to do what Lizzie does, which is apparently just destroying the world and recreating it in his own image. So he wants to destroy everything. He doesn't like anything. The people are pitiful, and they need to be taught a lesson, and they just need to all die except for the few that he think are worthy. He sounded like mutants, but he gets found, and he gets, I guess you could say, awoken. He wasn't really dead. I was thinking resurrected, but he didn't really die. So he gets awakened, and he sets out trying to find for himself a new foursome of mutants that he can imbue with some powers, and that can act as his accomplices and help him do stuff. Yeah, and of course you got 4 of them, so you're kind of tripping on all the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse thing quite a bit, and it seemed like forever for him to get the 4 together. You know, it was like he's trying to get the band back together here, but it was taking him a long time. And then that was being interspersed with, you know, other events that were happening with some of the mutants. You had Mystique that was rescuing Angel and Nightcrawler and getting them to Xavier School and all this stuff. And so there's this stuff that was kind of like setting up the people, and you have the guy Quicksilver who's been in a few other ones, and apparently Magneto is his dad, and so there was a news story about how you had Magneto. He had gone the ground in Russia. The timing seems a little strange to me because apparently 10 years have passed, although nobody really looked like 10 years have passed, but apparently 10 years have passed. So Magneto had gone to Poland and gotten a wife and gotten a kid, and as soon as you see them, you know they're dead somehow or other. They're dead, and of course, you know, they die. And Magneto goes on a bit of a rampage, killing the people involved and killing the people that did some things, and he got outed because he's working at this foundry, and there's one of these big, you know, these big cauldrons full of molten metal, and it disconnects and it's going to fall on this guy, and he stops it from falling on him. And so somebody told the police, and you know, ipso facto, whatever, fake Latino. Pretty soon the police are coming for him, and then things happen, and wife and child are dead. Although I did kind of like the way they got killed. I thought that was kind of a neat thing. But so you got all this kind of interspersed with, you know, Apocalypse, and he had a real name, but I guess we're calling him Apocalypse. You know, getting the band back together. So it did feel like it took a while to really get to the point of, all right, so now we've got all the players on the board. Let's play the game, if you will. And it just seemed to take a while for me. Now I will say, you know, the wife loved it. The wife probably said she liked it better than Captain America Civil War. And I didn't. I mean, I enjoyed it. I still have a little bit of a cognitive dissonance between the fact that so many of the design elements are from the first series of X-Men movies. You know, Mystique looks the same, and they briefly showed their plane thing, and you know, and that looks the same. And the school, they're using the same building for the school, and you know, there's so much of it that looks the same, but it's the next generation actors. So I don't know, for some reason that threw me a bit more than I really would have thought it would have, because I think this is the 3rd movie in for this cast. So we did get a little bit of a cameo from Wolverine. That was cool. They even went so far as, so they were at some of the mutants then getting taken to the facility where Wolverine was put together in the first series of movies, and it was they used the exact same. I mean, it's probably like CGI or something, but they used the exact same building, and there was a dam near there, and they used the exact same dam, and all this stuff. So, I mean, overall, I enjoyed the story, and it had some kick-ass fights at the end, and especially Jean Grey had a really cool moment at the end there that I really enjoyed. We were kicking ourselves trying to figure out who was playing Jean Grey. It was like, we knew this girl. I couldn't come up with that. I know her. Maybe it was the hair color that threw me, because she's red haired in this, and I think she's blonde in what we've seen her in, and that's as Sansa Stark in Game of Thrones. So I would certainly give it a better rating than what I was seeing in Rotten Tomatoes there. I didn't think it was meh. I mean, I did enjoy it. For me, probably the best bit was there's a scene where because of something that happens when Apocalypse shows up at Xavier's place to, I forget who he's grabbing. He comes to grab one of the mutants, and so he's got this kind of this not temporal, but he's got kind of this method of traveling that involves, like, you know, creating a bubble of something, and the bubble opens up, and somebody shot into the bubble, and it created this huge explosion that's totally blowing up Xavier's school. And Quicksilver gets there, and just as this thing is starting, and with the exception of the person that caused the blast, he's running around saving all the people that are in the place, and that was just neat, because, you know, you got the explosion happening. It's happening in slow mo, and like the fire and stuff is starting to come up and starting to break apart the wood floor, and there's like students that are walking across, you know, up in the house. The explosion is happening down where Cerebro is, down in the tunnels underneath, and, you know, so the wood floor is starting to crack up, and the fire's starting to come up in ultra slow-mo, and he's grabbing the kids out of there just before they blow up, and there was some really cool stuff. That was a neat, I mean, it was probably, I don't know, it was like 3 minutes or something like that. It was lengthy, but it was fun. I enjoyed that bit quite a bit. One of the things that was kind of problematic is that Storm became one of the four horsemen, if you will. So, although she did kind of redeem herself at the end, it was kind of strange seeing her as kind of one of the bad guys. Although she won't be going forward. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give it, you know, an 8.5, B+. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. Yeah, I liked Captain America better, personally. But it's got Iron Man in it, and I'm kind of leaning toward Iron Man. So yeah, I did like the fact that at the very beginning, you know, Xavier's always had hair in this series. In the new series, even though the actor wanted to shave himself, they're like, no, we're trying to do something different. And, you know, so he still had hair, and he's not showing any signs of, you know, male pattern baldness or anything. He's got nice long shoulder length luxurious locks. And I'm thinking to myself, geez, are they, at one point toward the beginning when we first saw the character for the first time, I'm thinking, are they ever going to have him lose his hair? I mean, is it just going to be like is going to happen eventually because he just gets old and he gets bald? Or are they going to, you know, is something going to happen? And they had something happen at the end of the film that made him bald. And so they ended up the film with him bald, sitting there in his chair, looking very Patrick Stewart-ish. They even had him in the kind of suit that Patrick Stewart would wear when he was playing it, and that was kind of a neat little shot. The other shot that was really cool is right at the very, very end. You've got the X-Men and they're training. So you had Cyclops, and you had who did you have? You had Cyclops. You have 4 of them there. I think it was Cyclops and Nightcrawler and maybe Jean Grey, and there's one other one, but they were all in different suits that probably harken back to various. Some of them were from the movies, and there was like one of them that I recognized as a suit from one of the comics, like back in the 80s. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, there was some fun stuff there. I'd watch it again. I'd definitely watch it again. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be talking to you then. So be seeing you.